Well, good afternoon, guys. This is Michael Rayford, How Money Works educator. Thank you for joining us today. This is the last of the Elements series, and this is long term. So why don't we go ahead and let's get right into the How Money Works media tour video. So let's check this out.
More than 5 billion people around the world continue to struggle with money and financial illiteracy.
The financial industry is not set up for you to be educated and know what's going on. The less you know, the more they make.
How bad is financial illiteracy?
It's not taught in school, so people don't know this naturally.
Oh, you're right.
So you grow up not knowing anything about it. You make a lot of mistakes along the way, and we're hoping to educate them and teach them how money really works so they can learn the cause and effect of all this.
And it doesn't have to be generational. Break that cycle.
We're on a crusade to eradicate financial literacy through learning how money really works. Everybody should have an opportunity to become educated.
How money works.
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 Start taking responsibility by learning how money works.
You have to know how money works.
How money works. Stop being a sucker.
Money means possibility. It means opportunity. It means freedom, things you've always wanted to do, dreams that you have. Money makes it possible.
You know, I've said many times before that it is great to have you here with us today. My name is Michael Rayford. I'll be your financial educator for the next half an hour. I would also like to welcome you to our How Money Works Elements educational series taught today on StreamYard. Stop being a sucker, with now more than 500,000 copies in print. So How Money Works is the very first financial education book that anyone at any age can benefit from the 10-year-old all the way up to someone 100 years old. And speaking of the number 100, the book has been featured on over 100 prominent TV shows, including, and you can see on the screen there, CBS, CNBC, ABC, and also Fox. The How Money Works book, and this is incredible, the How Money Works book has received a rare endorsement from the Heartland Institute of Financial Education and has been reviewed and referenced all over the web, including the popular online financial publication Make It by CNBC. You can also follow How Money Works on Instagram for practical tips and helpful resources. If you haven't received a copy of the book yet, let me know when we get finished. I'll make sure that you have a copy of your very, very own. So our class today is the fifth of 5 elements titled Long Term. And once you complete all 5 elements, you'll earn a certificate of completion signed by myself, along with the authors of the book, Steve Siebold, and also, Steve Siebold and Tom Matthews. I've said that name so many times, sometimes it just escapes me. But you also get a 30-minute consultation with one of our How Money Works experts. You know, for you, that is me. So definitely reach out via phone, email, or text. We're trained to help you chart the course to financial independence using our 7 money milestone methodology. So the most exciting of the 5 classes, we've saved the best for last because it's long term. It's all about the future. So you're going to learn techniques used by the wealthy to create financial independence, and you'll also learn how to protect your wealth as a legacy for your family. So we're beginning with the milestone number 6 and also milestone number 7. 6 is a big one, and also I think is the most exciting. So this is the milestone where results appear on your bottom line. So this is where you avoid the impact of taxes, losses, and inflation, and do your best to accumulate and grow your net worth. And I know these are words that, before reading this book, you may not be too familiar with, but now you're getting into where these terms can really show the value. So with the possibility of longevity adding so many years to your future, that brings up one question. Will your wealth last as long as you do? You have to be able to answer that question. Now, according to a recent study, 63% of people have a greater fear of running out of money in retirement than dying. So I'll say that again. 63% of people have a greater fear of running out of money in retirement than they do of dying. And also think about this. It's a real threat in light of this eye-opening statistic. So for retirement age couples, there's a 50% chance one spouse will live past the age of 95. I mean, can you imagine that? Living past the age of 95. Think about that. Will you have enough money to last you that long? Now, here is the crux of milestone number 6. So whatever stage of life you're in, you have to start building wealth now. So put it another way, yesterday is better than tomorrow. So it's always better to start something today than it is tomorrow. So as you embark upon wealth building, there are 4 disciplines to help you stay on track and not lose ground. So look at them with me, save regularly, and do not touch it. Review your goals and make adjustments as needed. So in addition to that, there are 4 threats every wealth builder, must conquer. So think of these as your wealth building enemies. So each one will come at you from a different direction. So in order to beat them, we'll have to address them individually. So let's start with one of the worst, which is, and this is across the board with just us as human beings, procrastination. As one quote says, procrastination can be, hands down, our favorite form of self-sabotage. And then we'll pick apart market losses, inflation, and of course, our favorite friend of all, taxes. Procrastination is the enemy of saving and investing. So it's best described as inaction. So we can put off and put off and put off. But the best tactic to overcome procrastination is prioritization, putting things in order by their importance. So you can simply move to 5 actions to overcome financial procrastination. To the top of your to-do list, flag them as urgent, and get started with them immediately. Now, you can never get lost time back. However, it's an asset we all have and so many of us waste. So you have to stop doing that today. Stop procrastinating, take action. Now, inflation is also known as the tax of time. The annual inflation rate has averaged about 2.8% over the last 100 years. Now, let me ask you a question. Can you approximate the number of years it takes the cost of goods to double at a steady 2.8 annual inflation rate? And now I'll give you a hint. If you remember the Rule of 72 from concepts class, it's the same series. So if it's time to if you think back to the book itself and you think about the Rule of 72. So now it's time to put your knowledge of the Rule of 72 to work. So the answer is almost 26 years. One of the essential reasons to build wealth using the power of compound interest is to stay ahead of inflation. So when you know that this enemy is slowly devaluing your savings and raising the cost of goods, it should drive you to be even more committed to grow your building strategy. Now, you can't let it scare you. And so we're going to dive into it a little bit more with some definite action. So the next enemy of wealth building is the impact of losses. So if any of you have ever gone to the casino before, you definitely understand the concept of loss, right? We all lose at the casino. There's just no way. You'll win every once in a while, but for the most part, the casino is going to win. And this is often underestimated. So it's a threat that can wreck your savings goals and force you to adjust your lifestyle in retirement. So here's a simple picture that illustrates how people miscalculate the impact of losses. So, for example, if you were to lose 50% of your investment, which happened twice in the stock market in the last 20 years, what percentage of gain would you need to get back to 100%? Well, the answer is 50%, right? You think it's 50%? Wrong. It takes 100% gain after a 50% loss to get back to even. It's not easy to do, which is why it's important to protect what you have. So maybe this is the reason why Warren Buffett famously said this about investing. So rule number 1 is never lose money. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. So we want to avoid losing at all costs. So what can you do to prevent losses? First, look at every option to reduce risk. Second, consider every option to reduce the first. So you want to diversify your portfolio. And third, you want to utilize the right financial vehicles for your situation because it's different for everybody. So remember, don't procrastinate, consider inflation, and talk with your financial professional about ways to reduce or remove the impact of losses from every strategy that you have. Now, lastly, the impact of taxes. So this is what is considered the 800-pound gorilla of wealth building threats. So nobody likes to pay taxes. I know I don't. I mean, I do. I pay my fair share, but I don't like to pay taxes, especially when you're preparing for retirement. So the tax strategy you put in place today can determine how much money you keep, how much you pay the government, and ultimately how much you leave your family and your kids. So understanding how financial vehicles are taxed differently can help you make strategic decisions that can pay off big time down the road. So let's think about this. If you save $10,000 at the age of 29 and you earn a 9% annual return each year, you would have $250,000 when you reach age 65. So now if you think like a farmer for a second, would you rather pay taxes on the seed or would you rather pay taxes on the harvest? And so, of course, whichever is smaller, which is usually what you start with, a farmer would rather pay taxes on the seed and not the harvest. So an investor would rather pay taxes on the money before it grows, not after. So you either pay taxes now, pay taxes later, or pay taxes never. Which one will apply to you is the question. So it depends on the vehicle you choose. And again, this is where a financial professional can help you make those proper decisions, right? Because everybody's situation is different. Now, when you sit down with your financial professional, they can help you figure out how you're being taxed now and what your strategy can be going forward. So the colors of the icons matter. Red is taxed now. Yellow is taxed later. The decisions get simpler when you break it down to these categories and colors. So do you have any red or yellow financial vehicles as you see here on the screen? So do you have any red or yellow? Now you know how you'll be taxed. That's a great situation because now you visually can see which vehicles you have and how they're being taxed. So red or yellow. So green, of course, the color of money, is the color of money and also of growth. So it's also our color for tax never. So different type of accounts can be taxed completely differently. So green icons mean no tax at all. Green never, ever, ever looks so good. So think about this. Are any of these tax never vehicles part of your wealth building strategy? I want you to ask yourself, are any of your vehicles green? Again, your financial professional can help be a great help choosing the right products for you and also helping you understand them a little bit better as well. So I remember the boxer Mike Tyson said, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. But I hear he's considering coming out of retirement, which we know he did. He's in his 50s now and hasn't boxed for more than about 15 years. So maybe he should listen to his own words. The best way to avoid running out of money in retirement is by not putting yourself in the position for it to happen in the first place. So in other words, stay out of the ring, especially if you're not a boxer, stay out of the ring. Now, in a recent Gallup survey, 85% of non-retired American investors strongly agreed that having a guaranteed income stream in retirement to supplement Social Security benefits is extremely critical. Guaranteed income can help you avoid the risk of running out of money in retirement. Think about that. Guaranteed income, meaning income for life. It never stops until that day that you're not here. And then there are even some additional benefits after that, depending upon the vehicle itself. So there are three components of a reliable income. So let me say that again. There are three components to a reliable retirement income. Now, we recommend you consider all of them. Maintain potential for growth by participating in the upside growth potential tied to the market. That's one. Reduce or remove potential for losses by eliminating downside risk tied to the market. And you can create a predictable income that lasts and prevents the possibility of running out of money in retirement with an income stream you can always count on. Man, that sounds good. I mean, has anyone ever talked to you about these type of things before? Well, now that you are becoming more financially educated and learn how money works, these are conversations and language that you can use on a daily basis. So here's what it looks like when you absolutely nail it. Gap close. Retirement stacking. So by stacking up multiple streams of income, the person in this example will have a reliable income because they saved the amount necessary and got the rate of return necessary to reach their savings required by making the retirement they imagine possible. They will never run out of money in retirement and could even have left some over as a legacy for their children. Now, I'm going to ask you, how does that sound? So think about your situation in your family. How does that sound? So you can work with your financial professional to figure out what your income streams and numbers need to be, right? As soon as you know those numbers, the sooner you can get started on your strategy. So at the last milestone, you want to protect your wealth by creating a will and guarding your legacy. So this is even something that the rich miss sometimes. I mean, think about some of these people we're going to talk about real quick. So there was Prince and also Aretha Franklin, both of whom died a few years ago, had sizable estates, but neither had an estate plan. So both left their families and business partners in an emotional, financial, and legal mess taking years to sort out. So this shows how important it is to protect your wealth with an estate plan. So according to a Rocket Law survey, 64% of Americans do not have a will, which doesn't surprise me. The number is higher for younger Americans as well. 70% of those age 45 to 54, then for older Americans, 54% of those aged 55 to 64 do not have a will. And so Prince was only 57. Your estate plan is how you protect your wealth, your family, and also your legacy when you die, or if you are incapacitated, meaning you can't make those type of decisions for yourself. So this is how your wishes and decisions can be carried out. And that's one of the things we have to think about is if I'm not able to make those decisions for myself, who will do those things for me? So your estate plan is how you protect your wealth, your family, and your legacy when you die or incapacitated. It's a set of documents. including your will, used by your loved ones to carry out your wishes and your decisions. I mean, how many times have you heard about families breaking up because there was nothing in place to show you the steps to take after that family member is gone, and then families start to argue, they break up, right? Because it becomes a very emotional situation. So there are 4 documents your estate plan should include. You'll need a will, your financial power of attorney, and advanced healthcare directives, or living will and a HIPAA release. So your legal professional can help you put all these in place. And these are things that should be commonplace within the family to have these conversations, because actually everyone in the family should have these as well. Now, also having an estate plan in place can help you avoid the government making the decisions about who gets your property, who takes care of your children. The process of a court administering an estate plan in accordance with state laws is called probate. So this is a process that nobody wants to go through. I mean, if you don't have to go through it, why would you put yourself and your family through that type of scenario? So you can also help your family and your business partners avoid unnecessary expenses and delays with the probate process with one additional estate planning tool. This is called a trust. So a trust can do many things for you. And again, your legal professional can give you the best advice when it comes to a trust. And there are different types of trusts as well. And that's why it's important to have that financial professional, because they can help guide you through what you need because of your particular situation. So please keep in mind that some assets pass directly to your named beneficiaries at death and are not transferred through a will or trust. So things like life insurance, annuities, IRAs, 401ks, and other qualified retirement plans work that way. Some bank and investment accounts also distribute funds directly to your named beneficiaries. Jointly owned assets with rights of survivorship pass directly to the joint tenant at death. But if you think estate planning will be too expensive or time consuming, then you haven't considered the cost to your loved ones down the road. That's what we really have to think about. So the truth is, there are options for almost every budget. So we recommend you put this milestone in place right away. Let me say that again. We recommend that you put this milestone in place right away. Today. Do not put off till tomorrow what you can do today. Now, we're at the conclusion of today's session and the entire How Money Works Elements class. Milestones like you just learned about will bring up questions like the ones you see on the screen here. A financial professional, me, Michael Rayford, How Money Works educator, along with other colleagues that I do have, educators as well, are the best people to turn to for questions like these and others. We can discuss this with you if you don't have one or need help choosing one. So sharing financial literacy and educating is what we do. So I definitely want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for your time and your attention, and wish you all the best of luck in the future. Our mission, again, you've heard me say this many times, actually about 5 times now. Our mission is to teach 20 million families how money works within the next decade. We are going to stamp out financial illiteracy in every community. We know it's a huge undertaking, and it's one that will require an army of thousands of How Money Works educators. Just know we're looking for people to help us teach these classes. That's where you or someone you know come in. So, in closing, I'd like to say that we're at the end of today's element. So think about which concept, again, resonated with you the most. That's why we started this mission of eradicating financial illiteracy. So this is how you start to take control of your finances. We call it the money discovery. So part of attending this course is we can help you, if you don't have a financial professional yet, This works like, again, it's like driving a car, looking for directions on your mobile phone. You have 2 points of reference. That's all you need, where you are and where you want to go. So the same is true as you chart the course of your financial roadmap. So the How Money Works Money Discovery is in the book, which can help you take care of that, right? So our How Money Works experts are also always available to sit down with you now that you've attended at least one of the Elements classes. The question is, how do these concepts work with your financials and your personal numbers? And how much faster will you be able to complete the 7 money milestones when you have an expert guiding you? Your discussion will be private. It will be short, and it will also be focused exclusively on your financial goals. So again, if you're interested, our experts, we can crunch your numbers, make recommendations, and then also give you access to the best products and services available. So you can text me right after the class, and let's get started today, putting your money to work for you today. Once again, my name is Michael Rayford, and if you like what you learned today and would like more, you can follow, again, How Money Works on Instagram and How Money Works Official for more practical tips and helpful resources. And we will definitely see you next time, and I do appreciate you taking the time and energy to allow me to share this valuable information with you. Have a great day. Thank you very much.